The National Assembly dealt with 5 bills during its 33rd sitting on Thursday. First, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony tabled the Human Organ and Tissue Transplant Bill 2021. The bill seeks to establish for the first time in Guyana a legal framework for the donation of organs and tissue.
A bill intituled An Act to make provision for the donation and removal of human organs, tissues, cells, and biofluids for transplantation and for blood for transfusion for their use for regenerative medicine, including cell therapy, gene therapy, and stem cell therapy, and other therapeutic purposes, for medical education and for scientific research purposes, including stem cell research, cell explant research, and cell line research, and for connected matters, and move that the bill be read for the first time.
Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashley Singh, tabled the Natural Resource Fund Bill 2021 to allow for a simple, transparent mechanism to govern the management of Ghana's oil revenues.
I rise to present to this Honorable House the Natural Resource Fund Bill 2021, Bill number 20 of 2021, a bill intituled An Act to establish the Natural Resource Fund to manage the natural resource wealth of Guyana for the present and future benefit of the people and for the sustainable development of the country and for connected matters. And I move, sir, that the bill be read the first time.
Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat tabled the Local Content Bill 2021, which is purposed to demand maximum participation of locals in the oil and gas sector according to their ability to supply its needs.
I am proud, Mr. Speaker, to present to the National Assembly Local Content Bill 2021, Bill number 20 of 2021, a bill institute an act to provide for the implementation of local content obligations on persons engaged in the petroleum operations or related activities in the petroleum sector. To prioritize Guyanese nationals and Guyanese businesses in the procurement of goods and services for the enhancement of the value chain of the petroleum sector. To enable local capacity development, to provide for the investigation, supervision, coordination, monitoring, and evaluation of and participation in local content in Guyana, to promote competitiveness and encourage the creation of related industries that will sustain the social and economic development of Guyana, and for other related matters, and I move that the bill be read for the first time.
Following the introduction of these bills, Minister Singh asked the Parliament's Committee of Supply to consider contingency fund advances in excess of $5 billion. The committee also considered a request for a $21 billion supplementary appropriation. Both financial papers were approved. This included the security of approval for $3.8 billion to support the one-off grant payment to severed sugar workers and out-of-crop support for persons in the sugar sector. Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa explained why the payments were necessary.
After the closure of the estate, you had a study by the ILO. The ILO confirmed that after the closure of the estate, a lot of social ills took place. Families were broken up, the village economy died, the parents were forced to take out their children from school. Many persons committed suicide thanks to the APNU AFC, the disdain that they have for sugar workers in this country.
Minister of Education Priya Manik Chan also defended government's $19,000 cash grant for every nursery, primary, and secondary school student, as she says it was necessary for the PPPC administration to reintegrate this into the government's agenda.
We made a promise. Our promise was that we would restore the cash grant to the children of this country. And in the midst of an election crisis that should never have happened, that caused a lot of economic worry and strain, in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of giving every household $25,000, in the midst of the biggest flood we have seen in this country, we thought it was a priority to keep our promise and give every single child $19,000.
Moreover, more than $7.7 billion was approved for infrastructural works in new and existing housing schemes and mobilization for the construction of the Eccles to Diamond 4-lane highway. Further, a supplementary provision was today also approved in the National Assembly to the tune of $3.4 billion for the provision of medical supplies for coronavirus consumables and reagents.